Okay, Gavin, we're going to take a look at all four strokes. Have three different angles for each one, from above the water, side, and underwater head-on. Starting with your butterfly. First thing I see on your butterfly is where we're breathing. We should be starting our breath as soon as we start to catch. So we want to extend out a little bit further. As soon as we start that pull, we want our head to start lifting up, not necessarily tilting our chin forward, but lifting up. And so we're lifting, kind of keeping our shoulders forward, lifting up on the water. When we do that, it allows us to give our head up to get our breath, and as our arms come over, we get our head down. As you see here, when you take your breath, your arms are almost fully in front by the time your hands are there, and it's very hard to stay with that forward butterfly when your head is up on that butterfly. So we want to do that. We'll make sure that pitch our hands down towards the bottom of the pool, keeping the elbows up, so we're holding more water that helps us pull ourselves forward and stay forward. If we look at your kick real quick, you can see legs are a little bit separated, so we want to keep those together, work them in there. The kick starts from the chest, not necessarily from the hips. As we look at your underwater, again, I see you pulling a lot of air in, first of all, but I see your elbows, your palms of your hands to your elbows and forearms are pushing down on the water. That's going to move you up, and we want to be moving forward. So you want to pitch those hands so they're facing your feet, your forearms facing your feet to mid-bicep facing your feet. You really want to try to allow yourself to be a little bit more pressing back rather than pressing down. Okay? Looking at your kick, pretty decent. Want to see a little bit faster and quicker second kick, but the first one's really strong. But see, again, the first thing I see is the elbows pushing down on the water. You want to always look at where the palms of your hands are facing. If they're facing down, that means you're pushing up. We want to lean forward and push back. That'll make a big difference in making yourself faster. See here, as you're pushing down on the water, your head's still away up, and when your arms came down, crashing in, your head was still up. We've got to get that down so when your arms start moving forward, you really get yourself down. Now looking at the head-on shot, what we look for here is the angle of the body. As I see a lot of your legs, as your chest is up, we want to be leaning forward, leaning downhill, keep those hips on the surface, allowing yourself, and you do that by pressing your chest a little bit more, getting a deeper press to the chest. We want to see here is we'd like to see more of your back as you shoot forward rather than seeing more of your swimsuit and your chest. So press that chest down, allowing the hips to come up more, allow you to flow a little bit easier and smoother with your butterfly, and take a lot of pressure off your arms, because right now you're trying to do everything with your arms and legs, and the best way to do butterfly is with your body and using those big muscles. Great. Now let's go ahead and take a look at your backstroke. Really good body. You have good body alignment. We want to tilt the head back a little bit more. But the main thing I see is we want to see a lot more rotation. Remember, backstroke is named backstroke, but it should be named side stroke because you really want to be more on your side. You lead with the hips for backstroke, so you want to be your hips from side to side, and everything from your hips to your abs to your chest and your shoulders all connected. So you want to see a lot more rotation. This is going to allow you to have a deeper catch. So you'll be deeper in the water, you'll hold more water and press back. Keeping your head back will also allow your hips to be a little bit higher on the water and be more of a straight line. You see you're kind of in a little sit-down position as it is right now. Again, that alignment's very important, and you want to rotate around that center. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at now the underwater side shot. We look at our hands. We want to make sure the palms of our hands, our forearms, and mid-bicep are always pressing back to our feet. And the first thing I see is your hands. When you enter your hand is pushing down on the water and then turning and pushing back. And when you finish your stroke, you're actually finishing below your hips. We want to make sure that once you get a nice good rotation, pitch that hand back towards your feet. Push on the water by driving your elbow to the side, holding on to nice good water, and then finishing at your hip with your thumb finish. So rather than push down there and see how your hand is way below your hip, you want to lift yourself up and rotate that finish so you exit with the thumb and enter with that pinky rather than pushing down. Because right now there's not a whole lot in your stroke that's pulling you to the other side. You are kind of just really pushing down more than anything. It's going to cause a little bounce in your backstroke. We want to go in the opposite direction of where our hands go rather than up and down. And again, we look here at the front end shot and look for rotation. As you see with the kind of the half rotation you have, you see your hips kind of responding to it. We want to make sure that we can draw a line right down the middle of your head, rotate from side to side, and have a lot more rotation. So you want to lead backstroke, you lead with the hips, rotate and side to side, and so we don't want to see your hips sliding from right to left. We want to see them really keep a straight line and rotating around the center. As you see, as you're kind of, again, you're pulling in lots of air. That air is going to prevent you from having a nice, good grasp on the water. So with more rotation, that will take care of that. All right, let's go take a look at your breaststroke. Good flow in your breaststroke, a little upright. Remember, we want a forward breaststroke. So the first forward is going to be driving us forward as our kick. The second is going to be the pressing of our chest and shooting our hands forward. We want to keep that half breaststroke arm, which you're doing a pretty good job of. You're coming back just a little bit far, but not too bad. But what I'd like to see is you squeeze your elbows together in front and really press that chest down to really accelerate yourself forward. The elbows are coming back. We want to shoot forward a little bit stronger. Hey, kicks, not too bad. We're kicking out a little bit wide. You want to turn those feet out a little bit more. I want to be able to see the bottom of your feet, and then you want to press back and hold as much water as you can. Your stroke is a little angled upward. So if you were a bicycle and your head was the front tire and your legs were the back tire, your front end would be a little bit higher. We want to have a downhill breaststroke, so you want to tilt your head and shoulders down deeper. Press yourself and allow the hips to come up a little higher. Rather than up and down breaststroke, we want to see more of a forward breaststroke with a downhill emphasis. Take a look at the underwater. This is where we'll see how far the elbows come back. Okay, coming back, you see just a little bit. It's causing a little bit of a pause. Keep those when you're on your recovery. That's when your hands are extending forward. See how yours are deep underwater? We want to get those at the surface. So by keeping the shoulders forward and keeping our head down when we breathe, we want to have our hands just kind of tucked right underneath our mouth and shoot us forward with a lot more power. By having it go as low as it is now, you're pushing that water. So that's resistance, and that's slowing you down as you're trying to move forward. So your kick is trying to move you forward, but your arms right now are holding you back. So we want to get those hands up on the surface where it's a lot easier and has a lot less resistance. And shoot yourself forward with a strong pressing of your chest and driving your hands out with a quick recovery. It's going to cause you a little bit smaller stroke, which is fine. You're just going to wait out in front until your feet finish. Tilting that head forward. See, you want to be able, as you're driving forward, you want to be looking at the bottom of the pool rather than looking out front at the wall. And you can see right there, as you dive forward and extend, your head is coming up. We want to keep that down and extend yourself in more of a streamlined position. As we look at the front end, again, we're looking for that pressing of your chest and driving yourself forward. And you see, again, too much swimsuit, and we want to see more of the back and the back of your head. As you dive yourself forward and dive yourself out, we want to really press that chest a little bit more. You're still, again, angled a little bit up, where that front wheel or your head is higher than the back wheel or your legs. So we want to really try to get more of a forward, downhill feel. Press your chest down, keep that head down. Almost imagine as if there is a ceiling about a foot above the water, and you don't want to hit your head on that ceiling. So you want to stay low and close to the surface to allow yourself to have a lot less resistance and to shoot yourself forward. Finally, let's go ahead and take a look at your freestyle. I like the openness of your stroke. I'd stretch it out even further. Okay. Main thing on freestyle is rotate, rotate, rotate. You want to stretch yourself out. Rotate yourself to a full extension in front, rotate yourself to a full extension in back. Try to get as much out of every stroke as you can, keeping your body in good alignment. One thing I see is your head starting to move throughout the stroke, especially when you breathe, and that's going to cause your hips to slide from one side to the next. We want to draw a straight line from your head to your feet and rotate around that straight line. We never want the hips to rotate to get out of that. And so by doing that, we need to extend ourselves out and really stretch into a straight line in the front, stretch in a straight line in the back, really allowing yourself to get more out of each and every stroke. Kick is good, but again, with that, when your body gets on alignment, it's hard to keep a steady kick, so you want to really allow yourself to do that. Okay, first thing I see is you're diving your hands straight down. You want to extend out further in front, then get your catch. You're diving yourself down, so your pull is not starting until halfway through the stroke. You're eliminating that front end where you can create power, you can create speed, and really take a lot of pressure off you. So your hands are going straight down, and your stroke is starting late. So extend out further, and you can do that with a little bit more rotation and extension forward, and so you won't have that. You're also carrying a lot of air in there, so when you pull air, it's not nearly as efficient as pulling strong water, and so you're kind of, again, that's little things there that can make you a lot faster and a lot more efficient without not a lot of extra work. We really want to get the most out of every stroke we can. And again, you're cutting that front end of the stroke off as well as the back end. Okay, as you see here, we want to be able to draw a line right down the middle and have you rotate, and you see that your head, your shoulders, and your hips are all out of alignment and are in constant motion opposite to each other. Again, tighten those abs, chest and shoulders and hips together, rotate around the center, really allowing yourself to stretch out and be longer with your stroke and really get the most you can out of every one. But again, we want to consider ourselves like a rotisserie chicken and rotating around the center. Gavin, it was a pleasure working with you. Good luck this season. Take care.